You've been in a room where someone walked in and the entire atmosphere shifted. No words spoken, no eye contact made. The air just changed. That shift has a mechanism behind it, and once you understand how it works, you can learn to generate it deliberately. Most people walk through life broadcasting static, wondering why their interactions feel heavy or disconnected. There's a practice that's been circulating in certain circles for decades. Some call it mental whispers. The name sounds mystical, but the underlying mechanics are more grounded than you'd expect. The core idea is simple. You hold a specific internal statement directed at another person, repeated silently in your mind, and their behavior towards you begins to shift. Sounds like magical thinking, and if you stop there, it would be. But the people who actually practice this describe something consistent enough to warrant a closer look. Start with what we already know about nonverbal communication. Researchers at UCLA found that up to 93% of communication effectiveness comes from nonverbal cues: tone, posture, micro-expressions, breathing patterns. You process all of this below conscious awareness. Every conversation you've ever had involved two exchanges happening simultaneously: the words on the surface and a dense rapid-fire negotiation of signals underneath. The verbal layer is the headline. The nonverbal layer is the actual article. Mental whispers operate on that second layer. When you silently repeat a phrase, say, "You feel completely at ease around me," your own internal state calibrates to match it. Your shoulders drop half an inch, your breathing slows, the muscles around your eyes soften in ways you can't fake with effort alone. The other person reads all of this instantly, processes it below their awareness, and their own body begins to mirror the signal. You changed the broadcast. They picked up the new frequency, so the whisper itself matters less than the state it generates inside you. This is where most people get it backwards. They focus on the words, trying to mentally send a message across the room, like some kind of psychic email. The words are scaffolding. The structure they build is your own physiology. Your body becomes the transmitter. Think about the last time you were around someone who was deeply calm, genuinely, cellularly calm. You probably felt yourself settling within minutes. Nobody told you to relax. Your system just matched theirs. Mirror neurons are part of this story. Your brain contains cells that fire identically, whether you perform an action or watch someone else perform it. They blur the line between self and other at a neurological level. When someone near you enters a coherent emotional state, your mirror system picks it up and starts running the same program. The mental whisper is a hack for entering that coherent state on demand, and the target of the whisper becomes the anchor that keeps you there. You're giving your mind a job. A focus point. Left to its own devices, your mind cycles through worry, rehearsal, judgment, the usual playlist. A directed inner phrase interrupts that loop and replaces it with a single clean signal. The calmer and more repetitive the phrase, the deeper the coherence. Now, there's a version of this practice that gets into ethically murky territory. People use it to try to manipulate specific outcomes, make someone call them, make an ex come back, force attraction where there is none. That approach collapses under its own weight for a practical reason. Desperation destroys coherence. The moment your whisper carries the energy of "I need this to work," your physiology floods with tension, your breathing shortens, your posture tightens, and the signal you broadcast is the opposite of what your words are saying. The other person picks up anxiety dressed in calm language. It repels rather than attracts. The practitioners who report consistent results describe something different. They use the whisper to shift their own baseline state, and they release attachment to any specific response. The phrase becomes a meditation object. "You trust me completely," repeated for 5 minutes in a relaxed state, does something measurable to the person repeating it. Their heart rate variability increases, their facial muscles relax, their vocal tone drops into a lower register. All of this happens before any interaction takes place. They walk into the room already calibrated. Here's where the energy dynamics piece locks into place. Every social interaction has a leader and a follower at the energetic level. One person sets the emotional tone, the other responds to it. This happens within the first 7 seconds of contact, often faster. The person with the most internal coherence typically leads. Their signal is louder, cleaner, harder to override. A mental whisper, practiced consistently, trains you to be that person. Consider a job interview. 2 candidates with identical resumes. One walks in after spending 10 minutes silently repeating, "They see exactly what they're looking for in me." That candidate's posture communicates certainty. Their eye contact is steady without being aggressive. Their voice carries a warmth that makes the interviewer lean in rather than assess from a distance. The other candidate walks in rehearsing answers, mentally reviewing weaknesses, running worst-case scenarios. Same skills, same experience. Completely different signal. The whisper technique works in reverse too, and this is the part most guides leave out. You can use it to shift your own reception of someone else's energy. If you're around a person who consistently drains you, a colleague, a family member, someone you can't simply avoid, silently repeating "your energy has zero effect on my state" does something interesting. It gives your mind a boundary to hold. Instead of unconsciously mirroring their tension, you've given your system an alternative instruction. The mirror neurons still fire, but the conscious directive acts as a filter, dampening the automatic response. Athletes use a version of this constantly. A free throw shooter at the line repeats a phrase, sometimes a word, sometimes a rhythm, to hold their state steady while 15,000 people scream. The specifics vary. The mechanism is identical. Internal language shapes internal state. Internal state shapes the signals you broadcast. The signals you broadcast shape how every person around you responds. There's a compounding effect that makes this more interesting over time. When you practice a mental whisper directed at a specific person regularly, your default state around them begins to shift permanently. The first few sessions feel deliberate, almost forced. You're consciously choosing a phrase and holding it. After a few weeks, your body starts dropping into that state automatically when you see them. The whisper becomes unnecessary because the state it was generating has become your new baseline for that relationship. You've rewritten the energetic contract between you. One critical detail separates people who get results from people who give up after 3 days. The internal voice has to match the pacing of an actual whisper. Slow, soft, almost drowsy. When people first try this, they repeat the phrase at the speed of thinking. Rapid, clipped, mental. That pace generates activation, the opposite of coherence. A genuine whisper, even a silent one, triggers a parasympathetic response. Your system reads the pacing as safe, and safety is the foundation of every state you want to broadcast. Try this for a week. Pick one person in your daily life. Choose a simple phrase. Something about how they feel around you. Something about trust or ease or warmth. Before you see them, close your eyes for 3 minutes and repeat it at whisper pace. Match your breathing to it, then go interact with them and pay attention. You're running a personal experiment with a sample size of 1. The results tend to speak clearly. Critics will point out that confirmation bias could explain everything. You expect a warmer interaction, so you notice warmth and ignore coldness. Fair, that objection holds weight. But here's what it misses. Even if the entire mechanism is self-directed, even if the whisper changes only you and the other person responds only to your changed behavior, the outcome is identical. You shifted the dynamic. The energy between you moved. Whether that happened through some invisible field or through microexpressions and mirror neurons, the practical result landed the same way. The people who obsess over the mechanism tend to be the ones who never practice long enough to observe the effect. And the people who practice consistently tend to stop caring about the mechanism because the shift in their daily interactions becomes too obvious to debate. Your internal monologue has been shaping every relationship you've ever had. The only question is whether you've been choosing the script or running whatever was loaded by